Oh, this has got me. There we go.
Woo!
I'm loving this. I thought you'd never ask, Ruby.
Oh, go on then. Roast them,
What is
Ben.
that sound? That's the sound of the angelic choir that spits out from the nation's bureaucrats as they tell me to go away. It's time for Holier Than Thou. This is the segment where we draw the listeners' attention to the public representatives who choose to shun the public they represent. It's going to be a bit of a light segment this week, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to hone in, because it's a topic that's close to me. I'm going to hone in on the Lower Hutt City Council. We'll be talking today about Wellington. But it's been an odd week this week, characterised by the patient waiting of an entire nation for the formation of its next government. But this weird political twilight has not stopped Mayor Campbell Barry's council from pushing ahead with its proposed name change of the suburb of Petone to its original Maori spelling, Pitoone. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not 100% sure. It's worth noting that a third of the incoming coalition's leaders, Mr. Winston Peters, has been vocally critical of New Zealand's bureaucrats for saturating public and intragovernmental information with Te Reo Māori, and so perhaps Mr. Barry and his council were hoping the New Zealand First Leader would be a little distracted by negotiations to notice the move. It's had mixed reactions, some people drawing attention to the fact that Te Reo was not a written language at all prior to the arrival of European settlers, so exactly what original spelling you could revert to is a little confusing. Many others declared it to be a non-issue and a complete waste of everyone's time. If the council wishes to change the spelling of a suburb to reflect its Māori genesis more accurately, then bloody get on with it so you can get back to the more pressing issues facing the Hutt Valley as quickly as possible. And believe me, there are plenty of issues, and that's what gets me about this. What irritates me about the council's response to my media inquiry, which we'll get to in a second. I'm a Hutt City kid. I was raised
Born and
there.
raised.
Most of my family live there. I spend a great deal of time there. The place is becoming a tip. And I say that constructively and with love, in the same way I say that Wellington City is falling to pieces and no one admits to it or tries to do anything about it. The CBD in the Hutt has not changed in 30 years. The buildings are grey, rusting and miserable, and the ones that aren't are covered in ridiculous graffiti, masquerading as murals commissioned by the council to cover it all up. The nightlife in the heart of the town consists of a few poorly lit gaming lounges with carpet you only ever see underneath pokey machines, sandwiched between a Countdown and a Briscoe's. It is just awful, and it's not getting any better. And then despite all of that, you've got the council fannying about with the spelling of a nearby suburb. I've no issue with Pito 1 or Petone or whatever you want to call it, but sort everything else out before you go changing names. I'm not suggesting the council are prioritising the name change by any means. The submission has been made, according to the Herald's coverage of the story, and the decision is now in the hands of New Zealand's Geographic Board, Ngā Pū Taunaha o Aotearoa.
Right.
I wonder what they'll decide. This is going to be a real head-scratcher for them, I'm sure. What I do take issue with is the fact that the council and Mayor Campbell Barry, local government representatives, who are usually quite indiscriminate in the media that they speak to, continue to regard the platform and its listers with complete contempt. We've actually had a number of quite constructive and interesting conversations with mayors from all over the country this week, across all our programs, which is something that I noted in my request to interview Mayor Barry, and yet they responded with this: "Thanks for the chance for Mayor Barry to speak with the platform. We won't be taking you up on the opportunity, but we appreciate it." I have to say, as a local of the Hutt, I found that response to be a little insulting, but I understand I was engaging with them as a journalist, not as a Lower Hutt local, and I admit that I have previous frustrations with the council there for reasons I've highlighted here. In any case, Mayor Campbell Barry features for the second time on Holier Than Thou as he continues his wholly unbecoming talk to the lanyard routine. And I have to say, he remains a relatively elusive man for a person who drives a car with his face on it. That's it for this week's Holier Than Thou. He does, I've seen it.
Wait, you're joking?
No, it's like Chris Bishop, he's a mayor. He's got his face right on the side of it. And yet you won't front for interviews.
That's awesome.
You won't front for interviews.
Oh my God, that's what I'm going to do when I'm older and I've got another car.
I mean, there's no reason for him to do that, but he does it anyway. He won't front for interviews. But no, it's a short Holier Than Thou this week, and it was an issue that was a little bit close to my heart because change the name of Pitoone, that's fine. I mean, people don't care. It's if that's the original way that it was spelt, fine. But as I said, the Hutt is just, it needs a real facelift, in my opinion, and they're not doing it.
Absolutely.
That's Holier Than Thou for this week, though.